Welcome to a new edition of the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino. On this episode, we talk with speaker, singer, songwriter, performer, storyteller, and entrepreneur Ollie Gabriel. He was born and raised in Louisiana. He joined the Army at 17 following 9/11 and has worked as a producer and writer with such stars as John Legend, Mel B of the Spice Girls, Keke Wyatt, and Vogue, and the Jacksons. He landed his first radio hit as an artist with his motivational debut record, Running Man, which reached the top 10 across Europe. In 2019, he was featured on the hit NBC series Songland and subsequently landed his first top 40 Billboard charting hit with the soulful R&B love song Something New. In 2022, he set out on a transformative 635-mile walking pilgrimage across Spain that took him 35 days. Inspired by the journey, he created an innovative media coffee table book to support Hope to Walk, a nonprofit organization that provides free prosthetics to amputees in need. He's got quite a story, a lot going on. Enjoy.
You got it, man. It's a great day. Nice to meet you.
I love it. Nice to meet you. Thanks for being flexible. Where are you located?
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee. I love it. Yeah, I'm in Kansas City, Missouri. So it's great to meet you. You got so much going on, but I want to begin everything with, we're on the 4-year anniversary of this pandemic, and I'm curious, how did you survive the pandemic, and how did it subsequently change you, especially being an artist?
That's a great question, Joe. Wow, so time flies so fast. 4 years already. It's wild.
Yes.
So how did I survive the pandemic? I think that the best way I could say I survived the pandemic, I didn't try to fight it. I looked at the pandemic as something that was happening globally for us, like for the collective, for myself. Speaking for myself, I really, very early on in the pandemic, I realized that, okay, there were things that this pandemic was causing to be brought to the forefront that I would have never looked at had it not been for something like that. What my motivations were, what was really driving me, what I truly wanted. So looking back on it 4 years later in hindsight and being able to see like all of the growth and blessings that have come out post pandemic, I think that my saving grace, the thing that has allowed me to not just survive the pandemic, but to thrive, during and post, is that I accepted it. And I looked for the lessons within the chaos, so to speak. So I accepted it, and I allowed myself to expand. That'd be the biggest thing. I allowed myself to expand and to flow with whatever the direction was pulling, the direction that I felt life was pulling me.
So you got quite an eclectic mix of the right and left brain between being an entrepreneur and an artist. And I'm curious, if I put you in front of a bunch of third graders at career day, one of the kids asks you, hey, what do you do for a living? How do you answer that child?
That's a great question. That's something that I think about a lot. What do I do for a living? I would say what I do for a living is I serve in all the ways that so if I'm talking to a third grader, I'd say, I serve others in all the ways that make me happy. So, what I do for a living, usually when people ask that question, they want to, the subtext is, how do you make money? Right. And, so for me, I think the money that you make is directly tied to, the problems you solve and how you serve others. So, I allow myself to recognize my gifts outside of what to recognize all my gifts and all the ways that they show up. So yeah, they show up sometimes in an entertainment capacity, when, I'm doing things with, music or entertaining or, that kind of thing. But, they also serve with my business mind. I, consult and helping people overcome other kinds of problems that have nothing to do with entertainment, and those light me up as well. So I would tell that third grader, I serve people. I help people. What I do for a living is I help people, solve problems that I think I'm good at solving. And sometimes that could be as simple as, hey man, we're having a corporate party and, we need the dance floor packed and we want to put on a great show. Or it could be, if I'm working with a record label or something, I got this artist and they need some great songs. So that's the way I know how to serve. Or it can be, with a startup company that is like, hey, I got this idea and I'm starting my business and, I don't know the best way to like go to market, or, I'm having problems with my branding and things like that. So I just try to solve problems that light me up. So that is what I would tell that kid, find problems that you can solve, that you actually like to solve, and then solve those problems.
What did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream?
My dream in the third grade was to be, at that time, it was really just to travel the world. I wanted to travel the world. I grew up in a small town. I never really, was exposed to too much travel at a young age. So I was always really fascinated with anywhere but where I was. Because I grew up in the country. I always felt like it was really boring, there was nothing to do. So that was my thing as a kid. I was like, man, there's nothing to do here. So I always wanted to go. I wanted to travel the world. And I wanted to make music. I realized early on that there was something special about being able to have the microphone and to be able to translate and transfer a feeling, transfer energy. I knew how I felt when I saw the performers that I loved on TV and how that made me feel, how I could feel that electricity in my body. And I wanted to give that same thing to people. So, at that point, it was only music.
So speaking of music and being a musician, what was the first live show you ever saw that blew you away?
First live show, I grew up addicted to Michael Jackson and, things like that. So, I never went to a concert in person as a kid, but I guess in some ways I did, because I grew up in church. So, I grew up in a very, your stereotypical Southern Baptist church, where it was really lively and, the music and all that kind of stuff. So, in a way, and I was my church musician from the time I was about 12 years old, until I graduated high school. So in a way, every Sunday was like a live show, because it was that kind of energy. So I would say that would probably be the first live energy I was exposed to, of really seeing the power of music and seeing how music really transformed the service and the energy in the room, of people, when they were worshiping in that particular setting.
So who is a hero, a role model for you to grow into who you are, to be successful, to have like the business and the creative side of you intact?
That's a great question. I think overall my hero and that inspired me the most and still inspires me to this day, I definitely have to say it's my mother. Just because there's so much, it's even hard to put it into words sometimes. There's just so much I've learned from her in regards to strength, perseverance, resilience, in regards to believing in yourself. And she was definitely is definitely my biggest champion, and it's someone that like really instilled in me this sense of purpose and of something, of pursuing something bigger than myself, and like really like giving me that courage to like not be afraid to step out on faith, as she puts it, to jump off the ledge, to walk even if you can't see the road, that kind of mentality. So I'd say my mom's definitely hands down my hero when it comes to business mentors and other people that inspire me to they would be people that have really done a great job of bridging that gap between creative and business. So some of those people that I'm inspired by, their how they've set their mark, growing up in the South, Master P, independent, growing up with music, but there was Louisiana. There was a really big independent scene. You had, when it comes to rap and hip hop music, you had No Limit Records, which was started by Master P, who, started out as a rapper and turned into a mogul and really built something independent. Same as with Cash Money Records, same thing. It's very independent mindset. So those kind of guys growing up really inspired me, from the sense of they were investing in themselves, and they were calling their own shots. They were artists, but they were also the business people. Jay-Z, Ice Cube, Tyler Perry, and I'm naming these guys too as well because being a black man, that was really something that these guys came from places that a lot of the odds were stacked against them for a lot of different reasons, and they were able to get out of the box of people seeing them as rappers or seeing them as just actors or entertainment, and really build giant business empires. So 50 Cent is another guy that has done that. So those guys inspire me in terms of how they are able to expand outside of just the creative side and really make a mark in business.
Yeah, we got Tech Nine here in Kansas City, and he's done that with Strange Music. He's a cool cat. So let me ask you this: every day you wake up, what's your inspiration? What gets you up to not only create but to help others and to also evolve as a person? What is that for you?
That's a great question. I think every day I wake up, the thing that really gets me inspired is looking backwards, looking at the hindsight, and realizing every day that I wake up here in Nashville, I'm super blessed. It's really connecting the dots and thinking about, when I wake up and, I'm in my cool apartment and I'm working on all these cool projects and stuff like that. And just thinking wow, everything started, me being here was a vision at one point. It was something that I only dreamed about in my mind, and now I'm here. So I think the thing that inspires me the most when I wake up is because I'm able to acknowledge that journey and able to look back and connect the dots to here. It fires me up and motivates me and gives me the confidence to dream bigger and to imagine more things, because I have the faith that I'm wow, I didn't know how it was going to happen, how I was going to get here, but I got here. But what I do remember and what I do know is that I was able to see myself here. I was able to dream the dream that I'm now living in. So I think being in it makes me be well, man, if I got here, well, what else big can I dream? If I can continue to vision and continue to imagine and continue to take the risk and take the steps and not be afraid to be bigger, there's no reason for me to doubt that 10 years from now, I'll look up and I'll be just like I'm here right now. I'll be in that vision that I'm planting the seeds for now. So that's what inspires me, man. I just look outside and it's wow, man, all the things you've been through, all the places you could have stopped along the way, and you kept going and look where it's brought you. So it just excites me to keep dreaming bigger,
So let me ask you this. If you can meet one person alive on the planet right now that you find fascinating or inspirational, who would you love to meet and talk to?
Man, that's a good one. One person alive that I found fascinating. There's so many. But I would say if I got to pick one person at this particular juncture, man, you know what? I would say that person would be, there's this really awesome, and this is probably not hard to do. You're actually giving me an idea. There's this really awesome guy that I love his content on YouTube. His name's Joseph Rodriguez, and we share a lot of the same philosophies. He gives so much value to people around creating their reality, and I feel like we just have like great conversations, just nerding out on mental alchemy stuff and reality creation. And so yeah, Joseph Rodriguez, I definitely right now he's kind of one of those mentors like on YouTube that I've never met him, but I've been consuming his content for many years, and it's kind of one of my go-tos content creators that for me have become really like mentors and just like peers in the space, even though we haven't met yet. So yeah, I want to sit down with Joseph. So I'm actually going to reach out to him.
I love that. That even adds to the answer. So let me ask you this: of all of these things that you've done and realized, all of these dreams that have happened and that you're going after, what are you the proudest of?
Oh man, I'm the proudest of the way I've trusted myself and how I continue to deepen that trust. And when I say myself, like it's like really, it's the spirit inside of me. It's not the ego part, but there's that little whisper that's inside of all of us that talks to us. I've never lost contact with that, so I'm most proud of the way I've been able to follow the beat of my own drum, in a lot of ways, and go the directions that I felt was best for me, even at times where it was really hard or it was very scary. And I think that is a superpower. And the other thing I'm most proud of, if I had to add one, is my sense of gratitude and just spirituality and feeling connected to source, feeling connected to, something way bigger than me, and being able to maintain a certain amount of joy and gratitude and throughout various circumstances. I think I'm really proud of that, because I feel that one of the things that slow people down the most or end up being, really big roadblocks along the journey for people is when we get jaded or we get really pessimistic about our situation, and then we start to become victims, and that becomes a self-fulfilling cycle. So I think gratitude is such a superpower if you can cultivate that and strengthen that and live life from that place of feeling like it's all happening for you, of feeling destined for something, of feeling connected to something bigger than you that's pulling you. I feel that's such a hack for achieving your goals and getting to where you want to go in a more flow-based, streamlined manner.
So, Ollie, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, fans, but you ultimately run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
That's a great question. My perception of me is a soul having a human experience and a being that, that is here to expand, to grow, and and a person that is super just grateful for the opportunity to be here and grow. My perception of me is it's really I feel limitless. I feel like there are no limits to not what I can just achieve, not in the manner of like a material, like, oh, I can, you can be a billionaire, you can be a this, or you can be a that, but more so from the essence of like, of how much like love I can let into myself. So my perception of me is that, I'm a spirit having a human experience, and I make that my highest kind of identification. And then from there, we kind of chunk it down into, these other containers of identity. But ultimately, I see myself as, just a lucky soul that's here for a reason. I think nothing happens by coincidence, and everything is by design, and everyone is here by design and for a reason. I truly believe that. So I'm just grateful that I believe that while I'm still alive, and I'm here, and I'm able to to hold that and allow myself room to grow, and also be compassionate with myself, and let myself make quote unquote mistakes and learn from them. And that's how I see myself. Person
Ollie, getting after it. No, I get it. Yeah. So let me ask you this. If anyone out there wants to get involved with any of your music, any of your entrepreneurship, anything about your world, where's the best place to go?
Yeah, that's great. So my website, you can find me, olliegabriel.com. You can reach out to me, join my email list, and you'll stay updated, as well as Instagram. You can find me, or social media, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff, at Ollie Gabriel. You can find me and shoot me a DM. I would love to chat with you, or let me know if there's a way that we can collaborate, or I could be of service. So those are the best places to find me at the moment. Or if you're in Nashville, you can find me here too as well.
I love it, man. Ollie, I love your spirit. I love what you're doing. Thank you, sir, for your time, for your story. Best of luck. Keep putting the light out there.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you.
Thanks for tuning in to another famous interview with Joe Dimino, where we cover the world of art, literature, business, spirituality, music, and more from around the globe. Our esteemed theme music was composed and produced by the great E.E. Pointer of Kansas City's River Cow Orchestra. If you want to hear more interviews, visit the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino channel on YouTube. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and until next time.